Look at that plane! It's destroying the environment! Our world is turning into a living hell! Animals are dying! People are dying! Plants are dying! Our world is dying!
But wait, there is hope! I have a solution. Follow me! Behold! This is the Solar Impulse HBSIA prototype, the plane that will save our future.
It looks like a normal plane. What makes it so special?
Well, you see, unlike normal planes, the Solar Impulse does not require emission-producing fuels to function.
No way! How does it do that?
Little Cricket, you are too uneducated. I will open you up to the world of knowledge.
Yay! Take me away!
Notice that the top of the wing and the horizontal stabilizer are black. These are solar panels, also known as photovoltaic panels.
What are solar panels?
Solar panels are sheets that convert solar energy or energy from the sun into electricity. The Solar Impulse utilizes solar panels on such a large scale that it is able to fly solely powered by the sun.
Awesome! It sounds perfect!
That's because it is.
But what about the environmental cost of building these solar panels?
Well,
Like, how are they made?
initially, we get raw cells from SunPower Corporation, and then they are sent to the Dubendorf boys.
Who are the Duvendorf boys?
They are a group of Swiss engineers here at Solar Impulse that evaluate each photovoltaic cell individually to ensure their perfection. They then string them into groups of 300 and laminate them.
Oh, I know what lamination is. My art teacher laminates my artwork sometimes.
But our lamination process isn't quite like that.
How so?
Oh well, we start off with a plastic resin and glass foil. We combine the cells, plastic, and glass into a sandwich, which is then heated at 95 degrees Celsius for 7 hours. Let's go outside, it's getting kind of hot in here.
So heating plastics and glass, right? Wouldn't that contribute to heat pollution, sir?
Indeed it does, but the benefits our whole technology offers the world outweighs negative aspects of producing the solar panels. I mean, it gets a bit tedious when a cell gets contaminated even by something as microscopic as a piece of hair, because that can cause a short circuit.
Isn't that dangerous?
Why, yes it is. To avoid potential disasters, newly made solar panels are handled meticulously.
But what happens in the event that a cell does get contaminated?
In the worst case scenario, we would have to restart the process again with a set of new cells. Indubitably, this would lead to further heat pollution, but we try our very best. Have great trust in our Dubendorf boys.
Still, I'm a bit skeptical as to how environmentally friendly Solar Impulse really is.
Granted, both modern airplanes and solar impulse planes contribute to pollution in the process of manufacturing, but compared to regular planes, which rely on gasoline for flight, solar impulse planes only need energy from the sun to soar into the vast horizon.
If Solar Impulse does so little harm to the environment, how come people haven't thought of it before? It's already the 21st century!
Oh, but little Cricket, people have thought of utilizing photovoltaic panels to operate planes before. In fact, I know of 6 solar-powered planes that existed prior to Solar Impulse HBSIA. It all started back in 1989 with the birth of the first sun-reliant plane. Then came the plane of 1990, the Sunseeker. It was a solar motor glider with an empty weight of 89 kilograms. In 1996, there was a competition to see who could create a plane able to climb an altitude of 450 meters with the aid of batteries and maintain horizontal flight with solar energy power. The team that won was from Stuttgart University. And of course, we mustn't forget the remote-controlled plane of 2001, Helios, built by NASA. It reached a record altitude of nearly 30,000 meters, but crashed during a flight 2 years later into the Pacific Ocean. Ugh. The plane of 2005 was an unmanned drone made by Alan Cocconi. It was the first solar-powered plane that was able to fly through the whole night. And last but not least, the plane that preceded the Solar Impulse HBSIA, Zephyr, the plane of 2010. This plane was able to accomplish a non-stop flight of 336 hours and 22 minutes. That's over 14 days!
So, when did the Solar Impulse come about?
Well, it's a long story, dating back all the way to 1999, when I, Bertrand Piccard, flew around the world in a fuel-expensive trip in a hot air balloon. After that, I swore to myself that my next trip would be fuel and emission-free.
Cool, so that's where it all started.
Yes, but it doesn't stop there. Between the years of 2001 and 2003, I came up with the idea of building a solar-powered plane. I recruited Andrew Borschberg, who was a fighter pilot, to begin the journey to make my dream become reality.
So does that make you two partners?
Indeed it does. Borschberg and I officially became partners in 2004. This is also around the time when many companies such as the Deutsche Bank, Omega, Schindler, and Solvay offered partnership with us. Our final design for the first prototype was shown to the partners and press in 2007.
What happened after that?
A year later, we each completed a virtual flight of 25 hours.
25 hours? That's over a day. How did you manage that?
When flying the actual prototype, we would have to stay alert for hours, possibly longer than 25. This would pose an extremely heavy burden on our physical and mental wellness. For the sake of being precautious, we undergo such training as this to prepare our minds and souls to tackle those strenuous hours.
How come I never heard of this before, like Solar Impulse and stuff?
Well, we released it to the public in 2009, the same year a prototype of the plane, called the HBSIA, was assembled in Dubendorf. Later, in 2010, the prototype was transported to Payern.
Why was it transported there?
We needed space to perform several test flights to ensure the safety of the trips that would follow. In fact, my partner Borschberg flew the prototype for the first time throughout the night for a little over 26 hours, meriting a world record.
Were you ever able to fly the plane yourself? I mean, you did contribute to a huge part of Solar Impulse's production.
Eventually, yes. After international flights to Belgium and France in 2011, the HBSIA returned to Switzerland, where I was able to fly it myself for the first time.
Oh, that's so cool. How was that?
The views were breathtaking. It was absolutely spectacular.
Did the HBSIA ever go beyond the borders of Europe?
Why yes, little cricket, it did. In 2012, the plane took its first intercontinental flight, including to places in Morocco like Rabat and Ouarzazate.
Did you accomplish anything this year?
Yes, we explored the United States from coast to coast, visiting places like Washington, New York City, Cincinnati, St. Louis, Dallas, Phoenix, and Moffett. I was also able to fly over the Golden Gate in San Francisco. Although it was a successful flight, it was almost cancelled due to high winds and the arrival of fog. Dun, dun, dun!
That must have been amazing!
Of course it was, little cricket. My adrenaline reached its peak every flight.
Wait, is Solar Impulse the only solar-powered plane in development right now?
Yes, it is.
Why? It doesn't seem logical for solar-powered planes to be so unpopular.
Ah, little cricket. You see, the price of quality photovoltaic cells have skyrocketed over the years. If you attempt to buy highly efficient solar cells nowadays, it can cost up to $1,000 per cell.
$1,000 for only one cell? Didn't you say the Solar Impulse HBSIA needed 300 cells for a panel? That cost up to $300,000 for just one panel.
Yes, the HBSIA alone needs 38 panels to function properly. Our next prototype in the making, the HBSIB, will need 48 panels.
Wow! How much would that total up to?
The HBSIA costs $11,400,000 for the solar panels alone, and the HBSIB will cost $14,400,000, also for the panels alone.
That's
Then we would
unreal.
add the cost for the rest of the plane. We'd also have to pay our devoted and hard-working employees, like the Dubendorf boys. Basically, funding this type of project is immensely expensive.
Where do you find the money to afford it?
It is all thanks to the sponsorship provided to us by our partner companies. Without them, this dream would have stayed only a dream.
This dream?
The dream to create the most environmentally friendly plane for the world and its people. My vision was to popularize the practice of using renewable resources as a source of energy. The solar impulse gives hope for a better and brighter future for aircrafts.